The offseason is heating up, and for the Miami Heat, the air is thick with rumors and speculation that could reshape the team's future. After a tumultuous season that saw them stumble out of the playoffs, fans are left wondering what's next for this once promising roster. Where are you watching from today? Leave your thoughts in the comments, because the Heat have some serious decisions to make. Let's dive into the controversial saga surrounding Terry Rozier, a player whose time with the Heat was marred by off-court troubles and underperformance. Acquired in a trade that sent Kyle Lowry and a first-round draft pick to the Charlotte Hornets, Rozier was expected to elevate Miami's backcourt alongside Jimmy Butler and Tyler Herro. Instead, his stint was anything but stellar. It culminated in his recent arrest, which sent shockwaves through the organization and left fans demanding accountability. Pat Riley, the Heat's president, addressed the media in a recent end-of-season press conference, reflecting on the ill-fated trade. He described Rozier as a player who had the potential to be a game-changer, akin to Norman Powell, a player who could score around 23 points per game. However, the reality was far from that lofty expectation. "We traded for a player that we felt at that time was a real upgrade to the roster," Riley stated, but it's clear that the gamble did not pay off. Riley was candid about the situation, emphasizing that he did not negotiate the terms of the trade. The NBA did. He noted, pointing to the league's involvement in determining the compensation following Rozier's arrest. The fallout from the entire situation has left a bitter taste in the mouths of Heat fans, especially since Rozier's legal issues were kept under wraps until it was too late for Miami to protect its interests. The inconsistency in the league's handling of the matter has raised eyebrows. How could the Heat not be informed about Rozier's pending investigation while he was still with Charlotte? In the aftermath of Rozier's legal troubles, the NBA awarded the Heat a second-round pick, an outcome that many fans felt was inadequate given the circumstances. As Riley said, that was not a very good situation. There's no doubt. The sentiment resonates with a fan base that expected more than a mere consolation prize for what turned out to be a significant miscalculation. In a move to close this chapter, the Heat have officially cut ties with Rozier, wiping the slate clean on a trade that now stands as a cautionary tale for future dealings. This decision may have been necessary, but it also raises questions about the team's ability to effectively scout and evaluate talent in high-pressure situations. Miami's management has a lot of work ahead to regain the trust of its fan base and to rebuild a roster that can compete in the Eastern Conference. As we look ahead, the Heat must focus on strategic acquisitions that not only fill gaps in the lineup, but also align with the team's culture and vision. The offseason is ripe with opportunities, and with the right moves, Miami can reclaim its status as a playoff contender. What do you think the Heat should do next? Stay tuned as we delve deeper into the latest developments surrounding the team, including potential trades and prospects that could shape the future of Miami basketball. The chatter surrounding the Miami Heat has recently reached a fever pitch, with speculation swirling about why marquee players might be hesitant to come to South Beach. But let's set the record straight. There is no Arctic freeze in Miami, and this perception is as misguided as it is frustrating. The sun shines bright on the beaches, the sushi bars are alive and well, and the allure of Miami as a basketball haven remains intact. So what's with the incessant banter from pundits like Stephen A. Smith? He's been vocal about the idea that Erik Spoelstra should take over as both coach and GM, and that the Heat need to lure back Dwayne Wade into the fold. This narrative, however, is built on shaky ground. Smith implies that there's a rigidity within the organization that repels stars, but he fails to provide concrete evidence of any player specifically turning down Miami because of Pat Riley's leadership style. Let's dissect this a bit. Dwayne Wade is currently an owner of the Utah Jazz. The notion that the Heat can simply scoop him back into the organization is naive at best. There's more to Wade's absence than meets the eye, and it's worth noting that he seems content in his current role with Amazon. As for Erik Spoelstra, he's been a steadying force in the organization, maintaining the core principles of Heat culture while adapting to the evolving landscape of the NBA. The idea that Riley's iron-fisted approach is still in play is outdated. Spoelstra has emerged as the face of the franchise, especially with his involvement in USA basketball. Now, let's address the elephant in the room: the supposed reluctance of star players to join the Heat. Since Jimmy Butler's arrival in 2019, Miami has consistently pursued top-tier talent. Damian Lillard had Miami at the top of his wish list when he requested a trade from Portland, but it was the Blazers GM who chose not to engage with the Heat, ultimately sending Lillard to Milwaukee. Kevin Durant has been on Miami's radar multiple times, yet it's never been reported that he had any reservations about coming to Miami. In fact, the Heat finished second in the Durant sweepstakes, both when he left Oklahoma City and when he was disgruntled in Brooklyn. And what about Giannis Antetokounmpo? There's been no credible reports suggesting he'd shy away from Miami if a deal could be struck with Milwaukee. Sure, New York may be his preference, but Miami is still very much in the conversation. The challenge lies in the Heat's ability to assemble a compelling package that can outbid other suitors in today's complex salary cap environment. Pat Riley himself has addressed this narrative with clarity. In a recent interview, he expressed confidence in Miami's ability to attract talent, stating that players still want to play in Miami. Of course, he acknowledged that it's not as straightforward as it once was, given the current collective bargaining agreement and all its complexities. But Riley remains optimistic, believing that the Heat are still a destination for players. The bottom line here is that the Miami Heat have always been a coveted franchise, attracting talents from Alonzo Mourning to LeBron James and even Butler himself. The idea that players are now shunning Miami is nothing more than a sensationalized myth. If the Heat miss out on the next opportunity to land a superstar, it won't be because of a frosty reception. It will be due to the unpredictable nature of the NBA landscape. As we transition to the next segment, let's keep the focus sharp and critical. Miami's reputation as a basketball powerhouse is far from tarnished, and the future remains bright for the Heat. What comes next in this ongoing saga? Stay tuned. As we wrap up this segment of our coverage, there's some compelling off-the-court news that's hitting the Miami Heat community, connecting the players in ways that go beyond the game itself. Fans, where are you watching from today? I want to hear your thoughts on this budding camaraderie and how it reflects in the Heat's culture. On Tuesday, a post from Grant Williams began circulating widely, and it was far more than just another stat line or highlight reel moment. This was a heartfelt announcement, one that transcends the hardwood. Williams shared a series of engagement photos, accompanied by the touching caption, "Forever isn't long enough." This beautiful moment not only captured a personal milestone, but also showcased the relationships that are forged in the crucible of competition. Bam Adebayo, the heart and soul of the Heat, was quick to respond to Williams' joyous news. His comment was simple yet impactful, demonstrating that the bonds formed through fierce competition can evolve into deep, supportive friendships. Adebayo's acknowledgement was succinct. No need for elaborate words when a genuine show of support suffices. It's clear that he values the connection built through their intense matchups, particularly during the 2022 Eastern Conference Finals that defined both players' careers. In those high-stakes playoff battles, Adebayo and Williams found themselves in the trenches, fighting for every inch on the court. Adebayo has emerged as a three-time All-Star and an elite defensive powerhouse, playing pivotal roles in Miami's thrilling runs to the NBA Finals in both 2020 and 2023. Meanwhile, Williams carved out a reputation as a tough, reliable forward during his tenure with the Boston Celtics, known for his ability to stretch the floor and deliver in clutch moments. Now, with the Charlotte Hornets after stints in Boston and Dallas, Williams is navigating a new phase of his career, but the respect between him and Adebayo is unmistakable. This exchange is emblematic of a larger trend in the NBA. Players are increasingly taking the time to celebrate each other's personal milestones, whether they're engagements, weddings, or family moments. These celebrations garner as much attention as the highlight-worthy plays on the court, further humanizing these athletes in the eyes of fans. Adebayo's reaction is particularly telling. He didn't need a lengthy monologue to convey his sentiments. Just a few well-placed emojis were sufficient. This speaks volumes about the respect and camaraderie that exists among players, even those who have battled each other fiercely in the playoffs. As we consider the Miami Heat's culture, this moment serves as a reminder of the importance of relationships that extend beyond the confines of the game. It's these connections that often fuel the passion and drive of our players, contributing to the team's identity. The Heat have always been about more than just basketball. They thrive on unity, resilience, and mutual respect. As we conclude this segment, I encourage all of you to share your thoughts. What do you think about the bonds formed between players like Adebayo and Williams? How does this kind of support reflect on the Miami Heat as a franchise? Be sure to comment below and let us know where you're tuning in from. And as always, subscribe for more in-depth analysis and updates about your Miami Heat. Together, Let's continue celebrating the heart of this team, both on and off the court.